everyone. We are Team 190 of Credit Research Challenge 2019 and we will be presenting our credit analysis on Bharti Airtel Limited. So the presentation comprises of industry overview, which consists of macroeconomic factors, company snapshot, corporate governance and capital structure. We also analyze the financial as well as liquidity position of the company, and we stated risk analysis as well as credit history of the company. Then we conclude our presentation with the investment decision made by our team. This slide demonstrates a brief overview of what all is covered in our presentation. In order to analyze the company and its performance, we have used top-down approach. So starting off with the industry, Indian telecom industry is second largest in the world in terms of number of subscribers as well as mobile usage. And it also consists of 4 large players. And with the advent of Jio since September 2016, the industry has become highly competitive. Then we move on to company and its financial as well as credit analysis. Based on our credit analysis and research, we noticed that the All-to-1C score of company is 0.57, which is significantly lower than the threshold of 1.81, which signifies that a company is in liquidity distress. Also, if you notice the upsides and challenges of the company faces stiff competition in the industry as well as declining serviceability of debt, which is followed by the constant rise in churn rate of the company's subscribers, which slightly overweighs the upsides of the company, which are stable average revenue per user as well as flourishing Africa business.
Talking about the industry analysis, Indian telecom sector is the second largest telecom market in the world with fastest growing app downloads. It employs 22 lakh people and has a subscriber base of 120 crore. The notable trends of this industry are grid telecom, consolidation between the players, optical fiber network and mobile banking and payments bank. The challenges faced by this sector are squeezing ARPU and decreasing in the voice revenue. By the Porter's 5 forces analysis, we understand that the threats of the substitute like WhatsApp, Hike, which provides voice services, is moderate and the bargaining power of the buyers is very high. Considering the macroeconomic factor, the crude oil prices and the dollar rise are very important macroeconomic factors for this sector. The government's push by the national telecom policy is encouraging. Also, the government has reduced the license fees of the telco by 6%. Seeing the company snapshot, Bharti Airtel gets highest revenue from Indian mobile services and followed by the African mobile services. It also provides home services like broadband and DTH services. Also, it has tower infrastructure business which is run by its subsidiary.
One of the most important aspects to understand how well the company is doing is to understand how well the corporate governance of the company is. The board of directors of Airtel have formed 6 committees to carry out the affairs of the company, out of which the 2 most important committees, which are the audit committee and the risk management committee, are being held by 2 independent directors. The independent directors have 50% representation on the board, and there are 3 directors in the audit committee which are independent directors. Except for Mr. Sunil Bharti Mittal and Mr. Rakesh Bharti Mittal, there are no 2 directors on the board who are blood relatives of each other. Also, there is a representation of 2 women on the board. One of the most important aspects is the position of chairman and the CEO are being held by 2 different people. Coming to the BEMIS score of the company, any score which is greater than -2.22 is considered to be a score which indicates that the company has been manipulating with its accounts. Airtel has been scoring 0 on that front, which is significantly higher than -2.22. For the related party transactions, Airtel has reported that there is no significant related party transaction in the company, and the new CFO, Mr. Badal Badri, is expected to take charge in March 2019 after replacing Mr. Nilanjan Roy. Moving on, now we understand the capital structure of the company. For the last 2 years, the net debt of the company has increasing. For the last financial year, the net debt was 1,06,333 crores. Also, we see that there is a fluctuation in gearing ratio of net debt to the total capital employed, which has been decreasing. The current net debt to total capital employed ratio is 60.5%, which is at par with the industry ratio. Looking at the public shareholding pattern, LIC has the largest shareholding in Airtel, which is around 3.7%. Similarly, several other companies like ICICI Prudential, Franklin Templeton, etc. have significant shares in the company. The promoter holding includes 50.1% for Bharti Telecom Limited, followed by Astral Limited, which has 14.8%. After studying all the reports and all the financial statements, it can be concluded that the company is in efforts to gradually deleverage the balance sheet and reduce its cost of capital.
Now let's talk about the financial analysis of Bharti Airtel. As we can see, there's a stark contrast in its performance before 2016 and after that. And this is majorly because of the Reliance Jio, which was introduced in late 2016. The EBITDA margin has been drastically decreasing since 2016 and has fallen down to 36.2%. The similar trend has been seen in return on equity and return on assets as well. But there is a slight glimpse of hope and good business opportunities in Africa business, as it has grown with an EBITDA margin of 46% in the last year. And I'm talking about other businesses of Airtel, such as digital TV and home businesses and tower infrastructure. They have remained fairly steady and doing well. Moving on, we talk about the last year's quarterly performances. The monthly churn has increased by quite amount in the last 2 quarters, which has directly affected its new additions to its business as well, which have gone negative in the past 2 quarters. Due to this, the average revenue per unit has also become steady and increasing. That is majorly also because Airtel stopped in the service of the income-only customers. We also see that the average revenue per user trend of Reliance Jio has been decreasing, while that of Airtel and Vodafone have been increasing. So when we look at the monthly churn, it suggests that the users are transferring themselves from Idea and Airtel to Reliance Jio. Now we talk about the competitive analysis of the telecommunication industry, in which we have taken 3 major players: Vodafone Idea, Airtel and Reliance Jio. We begin with the subscription growth. For Airtel, it has been going more and more negative. That's because of its increasing churn rate. For Reliance Jio, it is adding new customers every year. But when we look at the data usage per customer, Airtel shows substantial growth as compared to Reliance Jio and is catching it up. That means a lot of users that are high data usage users are remaining loyal to Airtel, and also Airtel is working towards their customer retention as well. Now we look at the voice usage per customer for Airtel, Reliance Jio and Vodafone Idea. All of that has been increasing, but Reliance Jio dominating that ratio as well. And finally, the EBITDA margins of Reliance Jio have remained robust, steady and dominating this ratio as well. Whereas for Airtel and Vodafone Idea, it has been steadily decreasing for the past 3 years. For liquidity and debt serviceability analysis, for Airtel, we can say that since 2017, the current ratio and quick ratio have increased, and the asset turnover ratio has consequently decreased. This suggests that the company is financing its current assets with its current liabilities. The interest coverage ratio for past 4 years for Airtel has also been decreasing. The Altman Z score, which if below 1.81 tells us that the company is in this liquidity distress zone. Airtel has a score currently of 0.57. In past 3 years, the highest score Airtel had was 3.28 when the business for Airtel was going really well. Currently, Airtel has a total of short-term debt of 128.6 billion rupees, which we believe it can cover it up, since it has cash and current investments worth 118 billion rupees and disinvestments of 100 million rupees. Now we talk about the risk analysis, in which we have taken it considering 3 dimensions: the sovereign risk, the business risk, and the financial risk. The sovereign risk is posed by the governments of the government policies. Since we know Airtel is also operates overseas in Africa, it operates in 14 different markets, and 5 markets out of which control the 60% of that business, and all 5 markets have different regulations that Airtel has to comply with. The business risk is that in 2019, Airtel will have to bid for the 5G spectrum as well. This would heavily impact its financial status right now. And also it has been, Airtel is also selling off the fixed assets in India so as to infuse capital in the Africa business. For financial risk, Airtel faces that through the changing, fluctuating exchange rates and interest rates as well. 40% of Airtel's total debt is in foreign currencies, and 15% of that total debt is on floating rates as well. So the final outlook that we gather from all the 3 risk parameters is that Airtel needs to take a close look at the 5G spectrum auction. It needs to plan its strategy well so that finances are not affected much, and also it needs to carry out good business operations in Africa, which is a place where it can grow its revenue and EBITDA margins in future.
Let us now understand the credit history and rating of Bharti Airtel Limited. On the left hand side you see various bonds issued by the company in the recent past. On the left hand side you see ratings accorded by different credit rating agencies across the globe, and also over here you see the rating accorded by us based on our credit research and 5Cs framework. The rating that we accord is stable to negative, which is also in sync with Moody's, Fitch and S&P rating. We would conclude our presentation with the investment decision taken by us. Some of the important points I would like to highlight are, ever since the Jio has disrupted the Indian telecom sector, the industry has become extremely competitive, leading to lower volume growth, which led to significant reduction of subscribers for Bharti Airtel Limited, which has adversely impacted the profitability of the company. The profitability was also adversely impacted by the constant rising churn rate. Also, the company has been financing its long-term assets with short-term excessive borrowings, which impacted the liquidity ratios. Effective from March quarter, the company has modified its subscribers base calculation to include only transacting and revenue generating customers, which is likely to be an earnings management practice, which is also indicated in bearish score. But defying all the above negatives, there is one strong positive, which is its expanding Africa business. Including MTN, Bharti Airtel Africa is one of the largest telecom providers in African continent. It recently raised $1.25 billion of amount on its pre-IPO funding through equity issuance. The money was utilized in order to expand its Africa operations as well as to deleverage. Based on above points, we reached to a conclusion of investing with a cautious stance. This concludes our presentation. Thank you.